Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking About Birds, the only Cardinal podcast that, unlike Lars Nootbaar's heels, still has two deformities. My name is Nate Heininger. I am joined by my co-host, Ben Smorka.
That might be my favorite one. That was good.
If you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. And thank you to the anonymous texter who sent that one in. I think I agree, Ben. That one has been making me laugh all day. We've gotten it's been really nice. Thank you to the listeners, both through text message and through the Bird Score. I got a bit of a backlog. I got some other really good ones too, but that one came in today. And it made me laugh so much, I thought I had to get it up.
That's great. You know, I'm happy to hear that. But anonymous, really? Show your face.
Well, they're too busy hacking. Remember Anonymous, that whole thing?
Yeah, they're the internet crusaders. They're saving us from something.
From something.
Yes.
Certainly seems like now would be a great time. I feel like we've also talked about this on this show before, but there's like a whole tranche of files everyone's talking about right now. Wouldn't that be a good thing for, sure.
Is that like,
anyway, I want this person who texted me this to find all the secret Epstein files, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. And Talking About Birds is definitely, feel very confident we are not in there.
You know, I haven't done a Command F, but it would be funny if there was with him, you know, me and Bubba were talking about birds the other day, and
we could use the publicity.
We could. No such thing. That might not be good publicity.
Oh, we'd get us.
I was gonna say no such thing as bad publicity, but that one feels like one you don't want to be.
We're driving clicks.
It's a great point. Speaking of driving, Hambone, we got a little trip coming up.
We're actually recording. I guess we're doing some driving. Okay.
We're doing some driving. We're actually going to spend, I think, a fair amount of time in a car. But we are, of course, flying there first, wheels up. But this week we're recording
for my Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Because you know me, Nate.
Oh, yeah. The moment the wheels go up.
Miller time.
Ben's squeezing down the middle aisle. Where's my Miller Lite? Wheels up. Wheels up. We've been talking about it for a while, but this weekend, we're flying out Wednesday. We are going to Cardinals spring training. Both of ours first time going. I have a name for it, Hambone, because we're going to Jupiter. I'm calling it the Get More Stupider Tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're on fire. I know you didn't write the first one, but you're on fire today, Nate. I hate to admit it. 2 for 2.
So the Get More Stupider Tour is this weekend. We will be seeing the Cardinals 2 away games, one in Sarasota and one in Bradenton, which is outside of Tampa Bay. Then we will be getting in our little car. We will be driving across the state of Florida, where we will be going to Jupiter and spending the whole day there to see a game there and spend some time at your new Roger Dean Stadium. How you feeling about it?
I'm very excited. I've been talking about everybody I talk to. They are like, you haven't been like 6 times. Why do you talk about baseball so much? What's wrong with you? Obviously super stoked to go to spring training. Very excited to see dem boys smacking the balls around. Very excited that we're not just going to Jupiter. I'm excited that we're going to all these other ballparks and seeing the Cardinals in various situations. I'm looking forward to the food. I'm looking forward to the weather. And dare I say, Nathan, even the friends.
Wow. Yeah, we are being accompanied by friend of the show, Brandon, who has attended some of our podcast related things. Like he went to one of the blogger day things with us. And also our buddy Dustin, who we don't see very often. He's driving down from Georgia, and he's hanging out with us too.
Yeah.
Bringing some peach tea, I hope.
I was talking to a buddy this past weekend, and he got me hip to something that is not far away from where we're staying. And there is a manatee viewing location. Apparently, there is a new.
Yeah, is that your bathroom mirror?
That was pretty good. Not as good as your other ones. There is apparently like a nuclear power plant, and the cooling water that is like dispersed back into the ocean is where manatees like to hang out.
There's no way that's good for those manatees.
It's just cooling them. Or it just cools the reactor.
Yeah. They got layers of blubber to protect them, I suppose.
Also, I feel like manatees are not super smart and not great at self-preservation. But anyways, I think we should go check out the manatees.
That sounds wonderful. We actually, we don't have anything planned for Sunday right now. We were talking about going to a non-Cardinal spring training game. But we're both just free all day on Sunday, basically. So maybe
not to make our plans on the show. I say we get some coffee, go hang out with the manatees, swing a baseball bat around, and then go home.
Okay. Right. Are we bringing a baseball bat to the manatees?
We'll figure that part out.
I feel like it keeps manatees.
What?
Manatees.
Manatee.
I feel like I said it weird. Manatee.
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 Tea.
Peach tea.
Yeah. I think we should do that. I think it'd be cute. I think it'd be fun. And I think that, you know, manatees, maybe they're podcast listeners. Maybe we can get some.
Oh, yeah. They have, I think, the general vibe and overall energy of a standard podcast.
You know how many of our listeners have reached out and be like, I keep getting hit by propeller blades. Like,
they're constant. They're like, I'm just floating doing nothing today. What are you doing?
John.smith@manatee.net. I'm like, wow, it must be. They have internet access.
They do. You know, I mean, what else are they going to do with their time? What did any of us do with our time before the internet?
That's a great question. What else are manatees
remember,
known for?
Remember when we, I think it's mostly just blubber.
They get hit by prop blades. Do they eat? What do they eat? Seaweed?
I think whatever floats into their
we got to
mouth.
go check these manatees out so we know more about them so that we can make more jokes about them.
Probably cheeseburgers. Yeah. Do you remember when for multiple years we had free access to MLB TV because we had the video guy for the Braves free login?
Oh God, I completely forgot about that.
Rob.smith@braves.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah. It was like 2013 and we had completely unfiltered access to MLB.TV, like total blackout, no blackout restrictions, nothing. Just it was like a corporate account, and it was rob.smith@braves.com, password Braves.
Yep. Nailed it.
Yeah, we gave that thing out to everybody. One time my band played a show in Madison, and we needed a place to stay, and we didn't have any money, and this guy let us stay at his house. Super chill guy. Totally normal thing to do, to just sleep on someone's floor. And while I was there, learned he was a baseball fan. I was like, I can't give you any money, but I am going to give you this login to Rob.Smith.
I completely forgot that ever happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it eventually shut down. And then we tried like John.Mazalak@Cardinals.com. We tried like a dozen other things. And I assume at some point they figured out that these things were just proliferating around. Because if it got all the way to me in St. Louis and as a Braves guys, there must have been hundreds.
You're
of
not
people
running hyper deep in the Braves front office circles in the early 2010s. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but it got to me somehow. Sure. Yeah. So, okay, we'll see some baseball. We'll see some manatees. We don't really know exactly what this is going to look like, but we are going to try to do like, I don't know, maybe some like short video stuff while we're there. None of us have really done that before, but it seems like the right thing to do. So we'll see. Keep an eye on like TikTok and Blue Sky, or join the Bird Squad. We'll certainly be.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be posting in there a ton. But we'll try to put some stuff out. But at the very least, we'll recap our adventures, in next week's episode.
Yep, I'll be here.
I'm assuming we don't join up with those manatees.
I mean, sounds pretty good. Nuclear waste.
I want to get in that nuclear waste.
No. To be clear, it is not nuclear waste. It is water that is warmed by the cooling of nuclear reactors.
I still just feel like there's something that, like, there's some manatees in there with like 3 heads.
Well, wouldn't that be cool?
Hey, Ben, join Facebook.
But is each head saying one word and they're like kind of good? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, you get it.
All right.
We got a pack show, Hambone. Why don't we? You want to talk about the ABS system? So it's all the rage right now. Baseball has finally adopted a version of robo-umps. Everyone knows it. If you're listening to the show, you're probably aware. But there's basically a challenge system now. The pitcher, the catcher, or the hitter can all challenge. The teams have 2 challenges. If you win, you retain your challenge. If you are wrong, you lose it.
I know all of this.
Pretty straightforward, pretty fast. I will say I'm happy about it. I have long called for robo-umps, and I think that this is probably a happy middle ground that I suspect will just be the case for a very long time. Yeah. I think I've said it a lot. My long-term preference is just like a automated ball strike zone thing. But frankly, this is fine. Like, what you really are trying to do is avoid the like horrible game-changing bad calls. And those don't usually happen like many, many times in a game, so having a fail-safe to avoid it, I think, is good. And I think it's kind of funny to watch them all try to figure it out right now. What's been your take on it?
I think I've said this is where I think it should stop, and I think it will keep the game moving along at a clip that we are used to. I also think it adds in some fun gamesmanship about like who you're doing it, who's doing it, how they're doing it, when they're doing it. It's an extra little layer of strategy and gamesmanship that we get to think about and talk about and criticize Oli Marmol and the rest of the league, like how they're doing it. So I like that part of it. I like the fact that it gives us more to engage with. And I think the problem with going full robot umps is it's like completely removing a huge part of the game, or at least a part of the game that I think is fun to engage with, and that is the strike calling of balls and strike, or the strike calling of umpires is, I guess, what I mean to say. What's funny to me is that we got here even though the umpires union was so against it. If you remember, I think we covered this beat about this time last year, and the umpires apparently were afraid that about the prospect of getting showed up several times throughout a game. But I am happy that we found ourselves here. I think I saw there was a spring training game where a catcher challenged, it was 5 or 6 calls in a row.
I was gonna bring that up, and was accurate. Like, I mean, you can only do that because you can only be wrong twice. So they got, I think it was either 5 or 6 accurate, correct challenges. So the umpire was wrong, and then got a cheer from the crowd when you got one right without a challenge, similar to the way that a pitcher gets cheered when they've thrown like 9 balls in a row and they finally throw a strike. Right. And the crowd's like, yeah, nice one, It was very funny.
I think that is why this system works, though, is because if you continue to be right, you get to continue to challenge. So I think that's good. I also think, that's pretty dramatic. That probably won't happen many other times. Right. Maybe very, very few times is my expectation on that. I also of course, the catcher has a very, very good feeling of the strike zone. And especially, it's been described to them. It's going based off the rule book. I'm just kind of curious to see, we are going to know at some point during the 2026 season that, holy cow, Ivan Herrera is the second best in the league of challenging calls. Or so we're going to have a whole new way to value catchers. And I just find the whole thing, I think it's a good little wrinkle. And like I said, not to be stick in the mud, but I kind of wanted to not get too out of hand.
I think this. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I suspect that this will be the system that is used for a long time. I think it is a happy middle ground between, I think, a lot of different opinions. And who doesn't like it? I mean, challenge systems for umpire and referee calls are like the norm in professional sports. So, I think it's fine. And I think it's obviously a considerable improvement over nothing.
Yes.
A few other like I do think it'll be interesting. Like you said, we'll start to see who's really good at it and who's really bad at it. Like I saw someone say the other day, Patrick Bailey, who's a really very good defensive catcher, has been very, very good at this right out of the gates. So I suspect it'll be one of those things where it's like the guys who were really good are also really good at this.
You're also going to get a hot-headed batter doing it in a situation that's clearly a strike, but he's mad or whatever, and he goes to tap his head when he shouldn't. And that's going to be really exciting. Like who is going to be, and I'm going to assume it's a batter that will mess us up over a pitcher or a catcher, but who's going to be the batter that challenges the most, like middle breaking balls? You know, there's like all this kind of little fun things that I think are going to come out of this that we'll get to discuss and analyze.
One thing that was interesting to me too, and maybe this is just my own lack of understanding, but I was kind of surprised that ABS was calling a strike if it even just barely touches the box.
It is
any
contact. And I think
we
had something that was called a ball that was like a 1/10 of an inch out of. It
was challenged by it was challenged by the batter, and it was overruled because it was called a strike, and then they challenged it and it was changed to a ball because there was like a 1/10 of an inch between the strike, manufactured strike zone and the pitch, which just, I guess that makes the most sense, like from a consistency standpoint. If you start doing like, a third of the ball or whatever, it starts to get clunky. So I'm fine with it. I was just a little surprised that it was getting that detailed down to the 1/10 of an inch. Well, I kind of would have thought it would be sort of like replay where they're like, too close to call, we side with the umpire.
I do think,
but no, that's not the case.
I do think that there is going to be some goofiness, like with, like, are pitchers going to start throwing a big breaking ball that breaks into the top of the zone when, like, for most of baseball history, that has not been called a strike because it looks like a missed pitch. But if you do that on purpose and you have a robot to back you up, are people going to start throwing high changeup that drops down into the batter's into the strike zone? Or are they going to be throwing curveballs like that?
And the corners are going to matter even more too, because have you seen those like heat maps of what umpires call for strikes? It's just the way the human eye works, very normal. It's almost always sort of like a tall oval, with the corners being less and less strikes, but they are technically in the strike zone. So we're going to see a lot more corner strikeouts. I just wonder if strikeouts in general are going to go up because it's a more defined zone. But that's all fine to me. It's all even playing field.
That implies that like pitchers have the ability to hit those corners which is also extremely difficult.
Of course, but it does make a more defined target. Like you have a consistent target, and I've said that before with the system that I was advocating for, which is pure robo ump. It really would become a little bit of like a video game of who can paint the corner exactly right, which I think would be interesting from just a pitching skills perspective. But again, I'm fine with this version of it. The only other thing I saw that I thought was kind of funny is that because of this, every single player had to be measured by MLB, by actual MLB, rather than like team reports and whatnot. And there's all sorts of dudes who are being listed now as not as tall as they were listed before. I think I saw Gavin Lux was listed as 6'2" on his player page, and he's now listed as 5'11". So he lost 3 inches. From ABS cut 3 inches off that guy.
Well, it's an advantage to be shorter in the ABS world.
It is. Well, I mean, that is not new to baseball. The your own St. Louis Cardinals, maybe it was the Browns. I think it was the Cardinals. Are the team who brought in a small person. They gave him the number like 3/4 or whatever, and he drew a walk in every single one of his at bats because no one could hit that tiny strike zone. And then like the next day, it was banned from baseball.
Classy bit that aged well.
Yeah. I mean, it was a stunt. It was marketed I mean, there were human zoos until, well, there probably still are somewhere, but human zoos were going until like the 50s and stuff.
If you were in a human zoo, what would be the thing that would be on your cage?
What a good question. Smartest man alive, hunkiest man alive. Look upon ye works. No, I don't know. Like something stupid.
The dumbest bitch in the whole world.
The dumbest bitch in the whole. This guy walked into this cage. He didn't realize it was a cage.
I'd pay a couple bucks to see to gawk at you.
Yeah. Well, wait. Why don't they make the whole cage out of the black box?
Yeah, I'd pay for that.
You guys got any nachos? hey, you guys. I'm just razzing the crowd. Hey, where'd you go to the concession stand?
That's good.
Slide some of that through that gap over there.
Wow, I'm getting this for free. This is amazing.
Should we talk about actual Cardinal news
Let's
now?
pop that hood, baby.
Yeah. So, I guess let's start with the extension of Oli Marmol. Least surprising news of the offseason to me so far. They had basically already been saying that this was coming. Just the specifics and the terms and whatnot were what was in question. I think we all knew just by Chaim Bloom choosing to keep Marmol going into this year, as well as some of the things he had said, strongly implied that they wanted to extend him to give him some comfort and reliability in the role. And we've talked a ton about Oli Marmol. I'm fine with it. I will be glad to see Oli Marmol as the manager, hopefully on it with a good St. Louis Cardinal team. Like, I want to see what that looks like, full of players that he helped like grow. That said, it is also important to remind everyone that these contracts basically mean nothing. Like, he can be fired at any time. Yes, it's comfort that he has the job for the next 3 years, but it doesn't mean that they can't just cut him. So, if anything happens or the performance is under expectations or whatever, he could still go. So your Yachty dreams, can still live on.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't even really care about that part. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
I think it's more really just means that like Chaim Bloom likes the way that Oli Marmol is receiving his emails and information and the stuff that he uploads to his iPad. They're speaking.
He won't respond to any of my emails.
Do you have his email?
Oli.marmol@cardinals.com.
Right, Oliver. Yeah, it means that they're speaking the same language, which we pretty much knew, like when Chaim Bloom came in originally, like 2 years ago. That they are new school. They're like close to the same age. They speak the same baseball language. And yeah, like a lot of people don't like Oli Marmol. I don't really understand that. We've talked about it though. He is his whole background. Well, his background is he's a really bad baseball player. Good enough to be a pro, but bad baseball player. Yeah. But very quickly pivoted. Oh, yeah. Very quickly pivoted into becoming a coach and a good manager and a good like baseball mind. And like I think that we should be happy about the fact that we have a very young and also like pedigreed and as far as the like development and training side of the house, like he's kind of a wonderkins, and I think this is a good thing. And the fact that we have two kind of wonderkins at the top in the two top jobs is a good thing because we are a young team that has a lot of juice that needs to be squeezed out of these dudes. So like, squeeze those oranges, baby. Like, grab them.
Now we're talking Florida.
You get it?
Yeah. I bought some orange juice today. Three bottles of it because I got it at Costco.
So
how
what
about
kind
that?
of an adult? Okay, that's cool.
I have children, and that is the chief drinkers of orange juice in my house. But I take a little nip here or there.
Do you?
Dude, who doesn't like orange
Yeah,
juice?
boy.
Are you coming at me over you don't like orange
No.
juice?
I'll take an orange.
You're a fool.
Or really,
Sure,
really
of course.
pulpy orange juice.
I will never understand you. Orange juice is so good. But anyway,
yeah,
Oli
don't think it's
Marmol,
very good.
it's fine. Like I'm now I'm thinking about orange creamsicles. You like a creamsicle?
Now you're speaking my language.
Hell yeah, we should get a creamsicle in Florida.
Okay. Write that down.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Oli Marmol, I think he's good, or at least he's not done anything to make me think he's bad. I'm curious to see what he does in a true development year with expectations that are not take this mid team and win 90 games with it somehow. And then I think we can have a much better read on him and what he brings to the table.
I think that is a fair point to make and worth just saying. Like, we don't know what he looks like managing a team like this. We know, like, kind of the psycho competitor that he can be, but what if he? What's it going to be like? Yeah, huge question, and I think he's going to be good at it. I think I'm looking forward to it. I have no issue.
Yeah. Well, on the field, unfortunately, with spring training comes people actually playing baseball, and so that means people start getting hurt. It's one of the parts of early spring training is who's coming in healthy, who's coming in hurt, what's happening. We do have a little bit of injury news. We talked about Brandon Crawford, Brandon Clark like 2 weeks ago. But there's a little bit more going on. Ben, you want to run us through some of this?
Did you watch the Team USA? We were recording on Tuesday. Did you watch the Team USA versus Giants game today?
No, I was busy.
Wow.
Which was a bummer. I know.
Brandon Crawford was in the booth hanging out with Buster Posey.
Was he?
He's bopping around there. Yeah. Tell you what, I think the Team USA team is pretty good this year.
Yeah, I think they might be okay.
All right, injuries. A guy who we have not talked about in a while. Let's talk about him. Hunter Dobbins. He has a torn right ACL. The status is Dobbins is able to pitch, but is being held out of agility drills right now. He underwent testing on his right knee recently, and the results are what the Cardinals expected. The team is still mapping out the next steps of Dobbins' rehab. So no real timeline, but I thought it was worth bringing up Hunter Dobbins because I'm pretty excited about Hunter Dobbins as far as him and Dickie Fitz and Michael McGreevy and Andre Palante and whoever else you want to throw in there. There's kind of this like group of 4s and 5s or whatever. I kind of think if any of them pops, Hunter Dobbins might be the one that I would put some money on, but obviously he's dealing with an injury right now. And the Cardinals are absolutely motivated to slow play that as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, there's literally no reason to rush him. You hear torn ACL.
Ooh,
you certainly think that's a bad one. The fact that they're like, we'll see, is surprising to me. I think my initial reaction to that was like, all right, see you in July. Dobbins, but I guess as a pitcher it's a little bit different. But still, I assume that barring a miracle or it's not that bad because we don't have a ton of information just yet. To me, this means he's probably not opening the season in the rotation.
No, I would say he's 100% not opening the season in the rotation.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see this guy pitch. In a Cardinals uniform. Riley O'Brien, we've talked about him a couple of times. He suffered an injury while throwing a bullpen about 2 weeks ago. He's got a calf strain. He's no longer playing in the WBC. If Korea makes it through the first round or so, he may appear. So it's, again, a huge question mark, but it's nothing I think that we really need to be concerned with. And I feel like we're going to say this 1,000 times this season. It doesn't really matter when he comes back. Love to see him come back and be effective. But I'm fine if that's in a month or 3.
We're just manatees floating in radioactive water right now, aren't we?
Nate,
because we have no concern sipping on
if those manatees are floating
juice
in radioactive water. would say their timeline is truncated at best, right?
We got no worries right now,
Yeah.
though. Right now, we're feeling
There's no
good.
ticking clock.
That water is warm, or maybe it was cool, whichever you said. And
do you not understand how these work? Nuclear reactor gets hot, right? They bring in water to cool it.
It's glowing green.
Press that water back into the ocean, having been warmed.
I've got a similar system here at my desk. I'm water cooled all the time. I'm just saying
that
whatever.
Mean you drink water and then you piss it out later?
Sure. Yeah, I got a little water bottle right here. Where did I put it? Here it is.
Dumbass.
I'm just saying that water is passing through a nuclear facility.
Well, presumably it's passing through these manatees too, right? They're probably drinking some, and it's probably going right through them.
We got to get out. We got to move on from these manatees. But first of all, love that Riley O'Brien is maybe pitching for Team Korea. I just love
a very Korean sounding name, is it? Yeah.
Well, it's almost exactly the same as Lars Nootbaar. Pitching for Team Japan. I love the World Baseball Classic for a lot of different reasons. And pretty far down the list is this like you just get some really funny setups just based off of names.
Wow.
But I hope that he gets to pitch for it. It's usually very important to these guys, and it would be fun for Team Korea to progress. And like you said, we both, I think, see him as the closer, although Jojo Romero still being here makes it probably more of like a closer committee, as people refer to it, with Matt Swanson, I think, also in on that. But at the end of the day, it's whatever. Like, take your time.
Do you think, like, how do I want to, like, is part of Oli Marmol's job to make players like Jojo Romero look as attractive as possible to potential suitors, like people around the trade deadline? Do you think that's even a conversation that's being had in between Bloom and Oli and the rest of the office?
I think it likely, with Jojo Romero specifically, every potential like perceived value from him all is executed in the exact same way. Like the Cardinals benefit by him pitching well, both on the field, and his trade value benefits by him pitching well on the field. Now, if you're arguing like if he goes into July with leading the team in saves versus holds or something like that.
More because I don't think like other GMs care about that shit. I more mean like tailoring matchups and opportunities to be things that specifically make JoJo shine, as opposed to a tougher matchup, which he may or may not do as well in.
I imagine that front offices are smart enough to recognize that now and look at body of work rather than, especially with a reliever who might only be at around 25 to 35 innings around the trade deadline. And if they look at it and they're like, oh, that's interesting, they only used him against lefties this year. And yeah, he has a 1.2 ERA. They're going to say, well, why did they only use him against lefties? That actually might hurt his value because that would make them perceive that he's not good against righties or whatever it might be, right? So I think like that's what I'm saying. The Cardinals have no reason not to use him in high leverage situations. One, because he's one of the best relievers, and that's just how it works out. And two, his success there highlights his value and increases his trade opportunity. The flip side to that, the only counter argument you would say is that they may want to use him less to reduce exposure and reduce risk of injury. But I feel like that also has a negative connotation to it. I really think like, what is a buyer looking for at the trade deadline? They're looking for a reliever who's just like all in on the season, is doing everything, is getting out there when the team needs him, and is executing in front of every situation. And so I would imagine that's how they're going to use him.
I think you're right.
Wow. Thanks, Ben.
All right, you brought up Lars Nootbaar's name. Unfortunately, there's no real news there right now. We still don't know if he's going to make it for opening day. The Cardinals seem
Oh no, okay.
optimistic.
For a second there, we don't know if he's going to make it.
What if his
for opening day?
Heglin's deformity? What is it called?
Heglin's deformity.
I mean, who knows? That could just keep running wild.
Could be, yeah. I mean, it spread to the calves, go to the
right
knees.
To his Hegland. Who knows?
You don't want it to touch the Hegland. I saw a trailer for Bride of Frankenstein the other day. How about that?
Cool, dude. I saw a lot of shit.
We're talking about monsters. We saw Wuthering Heights in
That's
theaters.
Also very cool.
Yeah, thank you. You can go
on. That's all the injury updates I have right now. At least all the ones I want to talk about right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't we get into more positive news, like what's happening on the field that has been interesting. We're several weeks into spring training at this point. We're starting to get some bulk behind these numbers. We're starting to see some storylines develop. I think, well, you put it top of the headline here of the outline, and I think it's the most fun thing to talk about is that while it's not a super deep sample size, JJ Weatherholt is looking pretty good.
He is looking locked in. He is looking ready to take over a major league job. He has a 207 WRC plus in, albeit only 16 plate appearances. What I thought was interesting, though, is that he is leading the Cardinals in the amount of balls taken currently. He has 36 balls taken. The person who is right below him is Alec Burleson at 26. And he has a ridiculous walk rate. Again, it's extremely small sample size. But I did think that number was significant, meaning that he is showing that very, very advanced plate attack plan approach.
Yeah.
Jeez, couldn't think of the word approach. Sure. At the plate already. And I think that is going to be the thing that allows him to excel very quickly at the major league in Major League Baseball is that he is kind of stodgy with the swings. When he does swing, he seems to be making pretty good contact. He had a home run already today, but he is
not only was it a home run, the 442-foot bombed dead center. Mm-hmm. So kind of what you're hitting there too, like spring training, it's caveats galore. There's a lot of different things that can be going on at play here. The pitchers can be working on something. You'll see plate appearances where the pitcher's like, I'm going to throw 9 curveballs in a row. And, of course, 2 of them fail and they get bombed or whatever. So you don't really look at results too much. But what matters, I think, is the underlying metrics. Like you're talking about here with a batter. You're looking at plate approach. You're looking at consistency, their ability to see the zone, especially with ABS now, and then when they do hit it, are they hitting it with authority? And he's doing both of those things. So, the big question to me on JJ Weatherholt is not will he hit at the major league level? It's to what degree, to what power will he hit? And that's going to be, to me, the difference between JJ Weatherholt, the very, very good baseball player, and JJ Weatherholt, the future centerpiece of the St. Louis Cardinals, is how much power he can provide.
Yeah. And I think I'm feeling like JJ is, based on his minor league career and what we're seeing, he is the kind of hitter that has a plan. He's looking for a pitch.
Yeah.
He releases the A swing on a couple of those pitches when he's in a good count, a good situation, and he's feeling good about it. Other than that, he is kind of grinding, taking his walks, taking his singles. And it's very exciting. I mean, there's not there. He has just checked so many boxes, and he continues to do it the first 2 weeks of spring training. It is easy to get hyped.
You can see why they were he's starting. We're making room for him. And also to be clear on my power expectations, I he is not going to be a power hitter. I'm not expecting 30 plus home runs from him in a season. I mean, maybe there's like a Trey Turner outcome here, but that's like true peak, value. But JJ Weatherholt hitting 20 to 25 home runs on top of everything else he does is potentially like extremely valuable, because that will likely come with a high batting average, will come with really good defense, will come with some speed on the bases, things like that. So the difference for me is like, is JJ Weatherholt a 15 home run guy or is he a 25 home run guy? And that's such a fundamental difference.
Yeah, we are trending towards JJ, no doubt, starting second baseman for the St. Louis Cardinals on opening day. And I think we are already feeling that.
Yeah. I think
my guess is that it was penciled in, not pinned in. But if he keeps chugging along like this, it's going to look great.
Yeah. That's another thing I want to say, because we've roasted other people in the sports media for like setting absurd expectations. If JJ Weatherholt hits 265 with 12 home runs and 18 stolen bases this year and plays really good second base, that's a really good year for a rookie. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not anticipating him coming out of the gates hitting 280, 20 bombs or anything like that. Of course I want that, and it'll be a lot of fun, but most guys, even the best players in baseball, take at least a year to really click. So right now, that's why we look at those skills. Like, what is he doing? And then hopefully it all comes together.
I think the only thing I'm really concerned about is that he gets to the majors and he starts facing real tough pitching consistently and gets overmatched. But he's doing all the things so far against the competition that he's been allowed to play against. It would make you think he's going to excel. And it makes you think that his ceiling is, his floor is pretty high with this approach at his style.
Well, he's excelled at every level, which the Cardinals have not had a prospect do for a while now. So, but the most likely thing is that he is mediocre at best in April, March, April, May, etc. And like, that's fine. That's exactly why, he's getting the starting job. They don't need him to. We talked about that with Ben Clemens, right? Like, the Cardinals don't need him to come in and immediately be successful. So he has the time and the space to do it.
As far as other offensive performances that I've enjoyed, I think just seeing Josh Baez against stiffer competition has been interesting. I think it has made it clear. Yeah. Well, it's spring. It's fine. But maybe needs some more cooking. But my God, is that guy big and fun to watch. There was a game by Chase Davis that happened last week, and we talked about him with Kyle. And what I really noticed about his performance is that he swung aggressively on either the first or second pitch in 3 at-bats. And I think 2 of those 3 at-bats, he got a hit. And, I don't know if that's just Kyle being right or that game going the right way, but he is one of those players, when things are going right, he just looks like he moves, swings, acts like a Major League Baseball player. And I wonder if he is, he's played very, very few innings in spring training so far.
Maybe he listens to the pod.
Maybe he listens to the pod. That would be great.
Maybe he's the guy who submitted maybe it's Chase Davis who submitted the opening bid this week.
Do you think an actual playing Cardinal will ever submit anything to this show?
No, I don't.
We know Victor Scott listened one time.
We know that Victor Scott acknowledged the existence of the podcast on the one time through his own efforts. Whether that means he listened or I don't know.
Shout out VS2. I know you're listening right now. What's up, dude?
Yeah.
All right.
That's a great
Let's
point.
get into some of the pitching. We'll start with the good thing that I saw over this past week first. Dick Fitz.
Yeah.
Well, he started a game earlier this week. He went a little over 2 innings, and his fastball was sitting a high 90s, like 97, 98. It was looking really good. The breaking stuff was looking okay, But sitting with that kind of heat and blowing the Mets lineup away like he was doing was very fun to watch. I know it's still early. I know it was a short outing, but that was more gasoline than I thought he was really capable of. That being said, not like I've watched a ton of, I'm not going to lie, like,
Sure.
I don't know everything about Dick Fitz, but I was pretty pleased with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to remember, like, there was, while it was not an extended moment, like, this guy had some hype around him. He came up real hot in 2024, I think it was. And there was some real heat around him, both in the prospect world and, at MLB level. And so, he has a little bit of a pedigree. Like, we've certainly dumped him into the bucket of a likely 3 and 4, and I think that is still the most likely outcome for his profile. But when we look at, of all the guys that are in that pool of 3s and 4s, and we say we hope one of these guys maybe becomes a number 2, I think he's one of the better candidates for it. He's still young. He's basically pitched nothing at the major league level yet. There's still a lot of room with this guy. And a 98, 99 mile per hour fastball is a pretty good place to start if you're looking to take that next step up.
Yeah, I think, obviously that just helps everything else play up. And I'm curious to see, like, if he can maintain that as spring goes along and maybe even win himself a spot in the starting rotation and see if he can continue into the season. But yeah, I mean, it's
I think
even,
he will, by the way. I think he's in the rotation. I'd be very surprised, like, especially if Dobbins is out.
Right.
I'd be very surprised if Fitz isn't in.
Well, let's talk about another one of his competitors for a rotation spot, and that is Kyle Leahy, who has had 2 starts in spring to this point. Of course, they're both only one's 2 innings, one is two and 2/3 inning. The first start, which happened at the end of last month, went okay. He went 2 innings. He faced 7 batters, allowed 1 hit, which was a homer, struck out 3 guys, no walks or anything like that. Went pretty well. And then earlier, this was a couple of days ago, he faced Pittsburgh, and he went 2 2/3, faced 14 batters, gave up 4 earned runs, a homer, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. So far, obviously a very mixed bag. That
homer he gave up to Connor Griffin, who is about to, we've shit on the Pirates a fair amount, and rightfully so. But Connor Griffin's about to lay waste to MLB either this year or later this year or next year. That guy's good.
I think they have to call him up this year, right?
I think so.
I mean, they signed Ozuna. They're going all in.
They're downplaying it, which is the right thing to do with like a 19-year-old or 20-year-old or whatever. But what he's doing this spring and what he did last year, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't break camp with the team.
Yeah, he seems like he might be all right.
Yeah.
But I don't really care about that right now. Kyle Leahy,
sure,
50-50 so far in these starts. I do wonder with, competition, it's still early, but the competition is heating up. McGreevy has had a good start. Andre Palante has actually had a couple of good starts so far. Matthew Liberatore looking good. And even Bryson Mouts is getting more action than I expected him to get this early. I wonder how long the chain on Leahy being a starter is actually going to last. Are they just going to let him start games until the end of spring? Does it take one more until he gets knocked out? How tight are they going to be with the leash is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't make the rotation, if he becomes like the long man in the bullpen. We've seen him in that role before. And you kind of keep him ready, stretched out if another opportunity comes up or if he's crushing it as that long man role. I suspect that we will have plenty of games where we could use a guy to go out there and pitch 3 or 4 innings, so I don't think there'll be a shortage of work for him. but yeah, not great. But the Leahy experiment, I'm a supporter of. So it'll be interesting to see how the next couple of weeks play out in that
I
regard.
guess I am. I don't really feel strongly about it. I kind of was
Yeah,
Leahy was kind of being successful with smoke and mirrors at the first half of last season. Kind
yeah,
of turned it from an under the hood standpoint, kind of turned his season around. But I at no point felt like I was screaming at the front office, this guy has to start. There are points where I felt that about other Cardinals relievers, Ryan
yeah,
Helsley, Jordan Hicks. Maybe we talked about that, but
yeah.
Leahy has not. He does not. I'm not getting what they're putting down. I don't fully understand the drive or the. I don't know if it's just him asking for it, or if they're seeing something more than what I'm seeing. But I, I could. I don't feel strongly about this.
Yeah, I think it's a number. It's probably a combo of all those things, and also just need. We got enough relievers. You can always have more relievers. So if he projects it, big guy throws well. We know we need rotation arms. And it's kind of popular right now to take guys who have seen some success in the bullpen, middle relief, and stretch them out. You're seeing it all over the league. I think maybe they saw something similar with Leahy. And there's like, well, we know we need 5 starters, and we arguably have 0. At least when this was being discussed at the middle of last year. And so like let's throw this dart. We can find these innings in the bullpen elsewhere. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not crying about it. Liberatore makes his next start the day before this podcast comes out, and then Dustin May makes his first Cardinals start the day this show releases. And we'll be able to witness that, Nate, against the Pirates.
Yes.
Can't wait to see that hair clash with that red hat. But we'll get to see him. We'll get to see. I'm very curious just to see what kind of velo he's throwing. I think that's the only thing I'm really going to pay attention to in this first game is he throwing like upper 90s? Is it moving? And does he explode? I guess those two things.
Yeah. Is he healthy?
Yeah.
Does he just everything look good? Is he pitching without reserve?
Right.
All of these things. It's one of the biggest wild cards this year. It could be Dustin May could be absolutely nothing for the St. Louis Cardinals this year, and that will be fine, but disappointing. There'll be a footnote. It could also be a really well executed plan by the new front office that resulted in, I think it's obviously the plan is to trade him if he gets good, and that's what we want. And so, he could end up being a good part of the season, a fun part of the early season, a surprise, and then return the Cardinals some good future assets.
Yep. Or he wins the Cy Young. You can't trade the Cy Young award winner away, Nate. You got to keep him. You got to retain him and keep pushing.
It's a mutual option, isn't it? After 2026,
it must be because they always are.
I'm pretty sure it's a mutual option because we said that there is virtually no outcome that results in both sides saying, let's run this back.
Yeah, I would bet everything that I have in my possession that he will not sign back. Yeah.
And make sure you do that betting on DraftKings or Bet365. We bet all the time. We bet on everything. We're never not betting.
Pretty good.
Bet hard.
Any other spring training?
Bet your blood.
Performances?
It's just good to have baseball going.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was a active off season, but
I heard
there's just something comforting about scrolling through box scores.
Yes.
I know it's boring to many, but to me, I just love let's just look at a box score for a little while.
You reminded me of an old tweet.
Wow.
Bet your blood or whatever. I remember it was a tweet that it was there are blood banks. Where are the blood casinos?
That's what I'm talking about. You and I used to talk about having a car that ran on blood.
Still think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that definitely. Let's get a car that runs on blood and is also AI powered.
All right. Final piece of news final piece of Cardinals news before we move on. The St. Louis Cardinals have introduced a Coca-Cola unlimited ticket package starting at $29. It includes all you can eat concessions, Nathan, as much soda, hot dogs, french fries, ice cream cups, popcorn, among other snacks one can eat all the way until the 8th inning. If this doesn't get you out to the ballpark, I don't know what's going to.
I'm about to make them regret this.
All right. What are you going hard on into with that? Where is your $30 of value? Because obviously those are all relatively cheap items, but where are you going if you get unlimited?
Okay, so I'm definitely starting with a hot dog or two, right? I'm washing that down with a soda, I'm for sure getting some fries with that. And that's sort of like my meal. You know what I mean? 2 hot
That's
dogs,
lunch
soda,
and/or
some
dinner.
fries. Yeah, that's like what I'm, but I'm probably spacing those hot dogs out. You know what I mean? But what I will tell you that I'm eating for the entire game is that popcorn.
Yeah.
I'm just never
You're
not
always
eating
having the popcorn. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm dipping into the other stuff as I need, but I'm just eating popcorn the whole. I just love popcorn. I had some at Alamo the other night.
I think I'm going. Not that you asked. I think I'm going the 8x8x8, and by that I mean a hot dog and an ice cream cup per inning.
Yeah,
you're cut off at 8.
Well, that's your. Hold on. You're going crazy here. That's your normal. That's what you normally do. So what's your you have unlimited access. Right. No, I failed to mention I'm getting at least one ice cream cup for sure. Probably end of game sort of thing.
I think I'm doing a hot dog, plain hot dog, vanilla chocolate, and I'm dipping that dog into the cream.
Into the cream? I guess that could be. I would do vanilla though.
Okay.
I don't think chocolate ice cream on a hot dog would
That's
be
the problem.
good.
You don't think it would be, but you don't know. So maybe you should shut
in this world I have access to whatever, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm dipping. I'm dipping those fries in that cream.
That's actually a better idea. I do wonder how long this is going to last because I feel like I know some St. Louisans and I feel like we could do some dirty work on this deal.
Well, I know some of the freaks in the Birds Court have already acquired these tickets, so we'll see how this goes.
I don't think I knew that. I must have missed that. When you go, if you partake in this, I am curious of the quality. Maybe send us a photo or just hit us up or call us or something. I'd be very curious of the quality of these unlimited $29 items.
Yeah, it's basically like they're paying you. I mean, these things cost them pennies, so no matter what, they're coming out on top. But it's pretty good value as far as these things go, right? That hot dog's it's going to cost you like $10 otherwise. So, I'm certain that these tickets are going to do well. I'm thinking about it. My kids, all they want to do, the only reason they want to go to the ballpark is to have the snacks, which I get. I was the same way in many ways, still am. But it's I'm not spending $60 on 3 hot dogs or whatever. Get a job.
Pay $60 for unlimited hot dogs for 2 though. Let's go.
But and the game, so to be real for a moment, there is I think this is good, and I'm glad the Cardinals are doing price adjusted things given the current circumstances between the quality of the team and everything else that's going on right now, making it affordable for someone to go to a game and have a really good time, I think is good. And I hope that this is successful, and I hope that they prioritize other things that allow people to go to games and get to enjoy the aspects of going to a game and not feel holy shit, this was my week's pay to bring my family to this game and get a hot dog and a soda, So I think it's good. I'm glad that they're doing this.
Yeah, agreed.
Hopefully they execute it well, because there is a nightmare version of this that is like people climbing over each other to get to the tray of hot dogs that comes out once every 3 hours or once every like 10 come out an hour or whatever. So I hope they execute it well.
Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy.
Big promise here.
Agreed.
Big promise here.
All right, Nate, that's all the Cardinals-y stuff I got right now.
All right. Well, before we move into some league news and continue our coverage of the NL Central, we want to remind everyone that this show is listener supported by listeners like you and listeners like Vicky and Tony, who have just joined our Patreon. If you want to be like those two, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. It's a great way to show your support directly to the show and to the time and effort that we put in to bring it to you every single week. There are a lot of different tiers. If you caught us on Jake's Viva Alberto show, we went into great detail about the Bill DeWitt tier. But won't go too far into that again now, but check it out. Patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. Patrons of any level get access to our private Discord. That is the Bird Scored. We talk about it a lot on the show at this point. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to talk to other Cardinal fans and kind of cut through the noise of the shitty social media experience that exists right now. So check it out. Thank you to everyone who has done that. If you want to support the show in other ways, consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you're using Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review with stars and write something. So you can be like, and Ben, you and I wonder if maybe you wrote this. Lousy Husband wrote, knowledgeable and finny.
Oh.
So little swing and a miss there on finny. I don't know. Maybe they think we're fish.
Oh, like we are with Finn.
Yeah. Could be.
I guess I have been with Finn before.
I've been with a Finn. Lousy Husband wrote some very nice things, including that that baseball should be fun, and it's silly to think this much about baseball. And I agree. It was actually a nice little encapsulation of the show. So thank you to Lousy Husband. And anyone who takes the moment to write a positive review for the show. We truly appreciate it, and it does help the show. Otherwise, tell your friends, tell your family. It's baseball season, baby. I'm sure you're talking about baseball, so why not give a quick plug to the show? Ben, where else can people find us online?
Yeah, we are on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram. We have a TikTok. Come look at our TikTok. You can watch this show on YouTube if you prefer to do that. You can find all the podcast information, including shirts, at talkingaboutbirds.com. Of course, you can email us at talkaboutbirds@gmail.com. And as always, you can call us and leave a voicemail or send us a text message or send us photos of the food that you eat when the season comes around, because I'm curious of the quality of the hot dogs, to 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
Yeah, I think so. So far, Ben and I I think we'll see how this plays out, because I don't know what these minor league stadiums are going to have available. But at least at one of them, I'm going to try to find some. Maybe we'll do a little research before we get there. But like, I'm going to try to find something ridiculous and eat it, and we'll put some pics on the Bird Scored and the TikTok or whatever. We're going mukbang style.
You think people are going to like that?
No,
okay.
But I might.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know. There's some
sick.
It's going to be our best video ever. Me trying to eat some
degenerates out there.
Shitty thing. Yeah. I go on a full side career now being one of those guys.
I think you would be good at that.
Oh, I love the cream.
Why do you have to talk like that when you do it?
Because I've eaten so much.
It's changed your voice?
It's changed my entire being.
Right. I don't like this episode.
It's Stab After Dark.
Oh, it
baby.
is. It's too late. Put me to bed.
Yeah. All right, Hambone. We are continuing our coverage of the NL Central. Will you give us just a little teaser or a little like elevator pitch on what we're doing in this segment?
Yeah, we are going through the teams in the NL Central by in order of their projected standings by Zips and Fangraphs. Last week we chatted about the Reds with our buddy Kyle. This week we're going to talk about the Brewers, and then in the coming weeks we'll talk about the Pirates, and then finally the Cubbies, and then we're going to be at opening day. Isn't that amazing, Nathan? That we are only a couple of team chats away from being at opening day. And I guess to kind of kick off this conversation about the Brewers, I think we talked about this with Kyle a little bit last week, but I think it is kind of funny, and maybe even Dan Zimborski when we had him on. But Zips and projection systems, and I think these Brewers are a hard nut to crack. They were obviously the best team record-wise in baseball last year, and their team is kind of weird. I mean, they're starless, right? I would say you could argue, I guess, that Jackson Chourio is a budding star. However, he's not there yet. And then they're made up with the likes of guys like Sal Frelick and Bryce Terang, and William Contreras is who do you think on? Well, let's just pause this, I guess. If you had to pick one player on the Brewers that is most likely to win an MVP award over the next 3 seasons, who would you pick?
Over the next 3 seasons, it's Jackson Chourio, if you ask me, and I don't think it's super close.
I think William Contreras makes it closer than you are thinking, but
maybe. But he's a catcher and he's 28, and they'd have to move him off. I don't know. I think he's very, very, very good, and he's a big part of why they have been so good over the last few years. So I really don't want to discount him, but I just don't see him. I think the odds of Jackson Chourio taking that next step up and competing for an MVP are far more likely than William Contreras putting it all together and winning an MVP as a catcher. You just got to have a lot of things with typically a limited.
That is how highly I think of William Contreras.
Yeah, he's very good. I mean, he's been called the yachty, current yacht, and so while you could argue that there's a reason he gets big time comparisons to major catchers of the past. So I like him a lot. Just when you talk about winning an MVP, which takes a certain set of things.
And this is,
I think it's more likely Chourio.
It's a funny team. Their offense was boosted by the acquisition of and turning around the career of Andrew Vaughn, which I'll never not be annoyed about. Christian Yelich is going to be 34 this season. He's
the one that you didn't mention when you're talking about stars. Yelich I know he's getting older and he's had all of his various injuries and whatnot, but he's won an MVP. He is the star on the team, even if he's not necessarily performing like it anymore.
He has name recognition, but he hasn't been a star level player since.
Yeah, he was pretty good last year. I know he's mostly DHing. It was not as good as I remember.
Yeah, he's a fine player. They would much rather have him than not have him, but he is not moving the needle a ton. But they've made interesting acquisitions. Like I said, Andrew Vaughn, Joey Ortiz has become a good part of their team. And I think their pitching is really what kind of stands out and kind of goes under the radar. They figured out how to make Quinn Priester, a former Pittsburgh Pirates prospect, a good player. They just acquired Kyle Harrison from the Boston Red Sox, who was formerly of the Giants. I think that acquisition is going to work out annoyingly well. Brandon Woodford is going to be healthy probably all season, assuming, he's healthy now going into the season. We'll leave it there. And then they acquired in a massive trade where they sent out, they acquired Brandon Sproat, one of the top prospects in the Mets system, for their former ace, whose name I'm forgetting right now, Freddie Peralta, who was nasty, continues to be nasty, I suppose. He's still around. But I think their pitching is going to be I will be very surprised if their position player group can do exactly what they did last year. I
Yeah.
will not be surprised if their rotation takes a nice step forward and looks really, really good all year. Jacob
Yeah.
Mizorowski
And
is
they,
another name I hadn't said yet.
yeah, it's like everyone on their rotation has either upside or consistency, except for maybe Chad Patrick, who is currently listed on their rotation. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but Jacob Mizorowski, Logan Henderson, Kyle Harrison. Harrison hasn't put it together anywhere else. He was with the Red Sox and then the Giants and now the Brewers, and he
I
has
think it
not
was
been able to show.
Giants, Red Sox, Brewers.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Giants, Red Sox, Brewers. And he's not been able to have the command necessary to turn that like crazy strikeout stuff into real value. But we're all just like, well, the Brewers just turn everyone around now. They have the sort of devil magic that the Cardinals used to have. So I expect he's going to be good. And don't sleep on the bullpen. It's pretty much always awesome. They continue to trade from their bullpen to get assets and continue to develop great players in their bullpen. Abner Uribe, Trevor McGill, Jared Koenig, Aaron Ashby, Angel Zerpa. Like it just keeps going. Like all these guys are good. And even on the offense, like, I think Churio, he's still only 22 and he's had back-to-back 2020 seasons. It's not crazy to start to see him get a little older and go into more power and start to maybe be 30-30. Bryce Terang keeps hitting the ball harder and harder. You already mentioned William Contreras. I think one of Sal Frelick and Garrett Mitchell is going to break out this year. So I just meant I think they're good.
Yeah.
And I think it was Dan Zaborski who said that Zips just never projects them correctly. And I think that's what's happening here because I think they're the front runner for the NL Central right now. I think that they're built like the Cardinals of old. Yeah. They have no holes. Like, and probably a few of these guys are going to end up in the 3 to 5 war. But everyone else is going to be like 2 to 4, and they're just going. It's the same way they're going to beat you by just every single game.
Yeah.
They're going to be in.
I think that they have a above average defense, and they have a lot of good base runners. Like the entire team.
Yeah.
It's other than Christian Yelich, who's not. I guess he's not a bad base runner. He's just not as fast as he used to be. They're all good base runners. Yeah. They're good at taking the extra base. They're good at squeezing every little ounce out of their tiny little frames. They play good defense. Yeah, it's just they're a good little team, and they are frustrating. And as far as Churio goes, I think if he starts walking, obviously the talent is there. The kid has all the tools in the world. He is like shockingly powerful, fast, great arm, all that stuff. He just can't really take a walk. I think once he calms down his approach, he'll start to elevate.
He's a free swinger.
Yeah, he also makes a lot of contact too. If that just starts going where he just starts doinking more balls over the wall, then that should work too. But all that being said, he's younger than Mason Wynn by 2 years. Like he is so young. He's younger than JJ Weatherholt, But I agree with what you said, though. I do think that they are the best team in the National League Central. And I expect them to only I think with Mizorowski and Sprout, they could jump up a level if those guys develop well.
So that's to me, they're I think their offense is going to be like league average to above league average, with a 90th percentile outcome of like much better than that. Their rotation, though, we just like talked very nicely about it. Like it is still this is where they could have their problems if all of these guys that they're projecting to have healthy seasons, step up seasons, bounce back seasons, if half of them don't do that, like Brandon Sprout is a top prospect, but he's not been particularly effective at the major league level yet. Kyle Harrison was a top prospect, but has not been good at the major league level yet. Logan Henderson, people really like, hasn't really done it yet, So Mizorowski, all the tools in the world. Can he stay healthy? Can he do it consistently? Even Brandon Woodruff coming back from injury looked great last year, but he's not a young guy anymore. He's had some major injuries. Like, that's the path to the Brewers being bad. They traded Freddie Peralta. While we both really liked that as a long-term franchise move, it made them worse for 2026. And there is a possibility that their rotation collapses and some of these young guys across their whole team don't succeed. And I think that's probably where Zips is coming in and saying, like, there's a lot of question marks about this team. And I think there's probably some bias from all of us that are like, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They always figure it out. And maybe this won't be the year where they figure it out. And I do think the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates, so we like to laugh at them, all have a chance, like in the infinite run of this 2026. There's an outcome where the Brewers are in the basement with the Cardinals because their starting rotation collapses.
There is no super team in this division. Yeah. And you do have a load-bearing Andrew Vaughn, not to keep picking on him, but like he had a good couple of months, but he's as big as a question. Yeah, there's a lot of guys like that. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah. But unfortunately, I've been conditioned to believe they're going to figure it out.
They're going to be good. And they probably will be. So, all right. Well, we'll see. That's why they play the games, Hambo.
So before we move on, we have been doing this. I think we started this last week, so I'm going to remain consistent. The Brewers were 97-65 last year. Zips has them projected at 81-81 this year. I think I already know the answer. We both think that they're going to do the over on that. Where do you think their wins are going to end at? Are they going to eclipse? Are they going to be around 97, higher, lower?
No, I will split the difference between their previous year and the Zips projection, and I think they're going to be around 89-90 wins. And I think that's probably enough to win the NL Central.
I was going to say 91-72. So we were right on the button there, or you and I are right on the button. But and I think that will win the Central. All right. That's all I got, Nate.
All right. Hit us with a little bit of league news.
Jurickson Profar, Nathan, yet again.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball announced that the Braves outfielder has been suspended for 162 games after testing positive for exogenous testosterone, a performance-enhancing substance. The ban goes into effect on Friday and will cost him the entire 2026 season, including the playoffs. It's the second career PED suspension for Profar, who, if you remember, missed 80 games last year after testing positive for a word that I cannot pronounce. So the Players Association plans to file a grievance challenging the suspension. They generally do not announce the violations of the drug policy until after the appeal process plays out. So this is kind of a weird issue. It's also kind of, I just elbowed my cat off my chair.
Wow.
It seems hard to believe that this is true because it does seem so stupid. I feel like the way that it's being handled means that maybe there's more to this, but on balance and just reporting the information that we have right now, what in the damn hell are you thinking?
Not a good look, my guy. Because it was just last year he got suspended. So it is curious to me that MLBPA is appealing. The players always appeal, and to sometimes comical, to a comical degree. But I could be wrong here, but I'm at least not immediately recalling a situation like this where the MLBPA appealed. So I suspect there's more to come from this. Interesting, but I don't know. Easy for me to say, I know, but if I'm Jurickson Profar after last year, I'm probably just like not taking anything. You made me a cheeseburger. I'm gonna have a guy test it real quick.
Sit around and get paid at least. Maybe you might not be a good baseball player, but those contracts are guaranteed unless you do something like this.
Yeah, he's in year 2 of a $42 million contract with the Braves.
Yeah, last year's suspension
and also
cost him $6 million.
Nate Heininger traded for him in one of his dynasty leagues in this offseason. This is a real blow.
Well, I think that was kind of a dumb move.
Well, it was sort of a mid trade. Okay. It was like more of a roster balancing thing, but still, I don't want to lose him.
Wow, nobody cares about that. All right, let's move on. The Blue Jays have officially announced that they have re-signed Max Scherzer to a 1-year contract. He is reportedly guaranteed $3 million and can earn up to $10 million in incentives. I think that this is good and newsworthy just because we have another old that's sticking around.
We love it when an old sticks around. And I'm honestly some of the most fun parts of the playoffs last year was all the Max Scherzer stuff. So I think we all like Max Scherzer.
I do like how it's like, and I think he's calmed down from where he was. But I do like how baseball treats him. Like, yeah, we have this guy on our team. He's cool, but when he pitches, he is insane. He scares me.
Get away from him.
Yeah. And like, I feel like that guy's kind of doesn't really exist in baseball as much anymore. But we have Max Scherzer, who's going to be 42 in the middle of next year, who is still scaring people in his own clubhouse.
Yeah. I think it's just everyone's weirded out by the heterochromia.
I'm weirded out by it. I don't like it. It's different.
Yeah. Pick a side.
He's really sitting on that fence when it comes to eye color. All right. Another old, Nate. The Braves announced Tuesday that they've signed veteran left-hander Chris Sale to a 1-year, $27 million contract extension with a $30 million club option for 2028.
Yeah. He is proof of what we've been talking about on this show is that, like, age for pitchers, it's like you're either healthy or you're not. Are you able to execute the thing that you've been doing or not? And he's healthy, and he's one of the best pitchers in baseball when he pitches. I suspect that they're entering into a phase with Chris Sale where they're just going to do 1-year contracts or some version of it until he's ready to retire or performance completely drops off the face of the planet. But last year he was amazing.
Yeah.
And so why not keep him around?
It is amazing. And to your point, like Chris Sale, his final 3 years with the Red Sox, he pitched 42 2/3, 5 2/3, 102 2/3. Even though he was decently effective in that final season where he only made 20 starts, then wins a Cy Young his first season in Atlanta, is hurt, but still throws 125 innings of 2.58 ERA baseball and accrues almost 4 WAR. He's put up to almost 10 F WAR in those 2 seasons with Atlanta at the ages of 35 and 36. Yeah. And what's also crazy is that he is now legitimately a Hall of Famer, or is in Hall of Fame conversation. Which is just wild. Yeah, I agree with everything you said, though.
Yeah, he's fun to watch pitch. Braves are in a weird spot, have been, the last couple of years. So I think it makes sense for them to keep him around.
Pablo Lopez and Rangers top prospect Sebastian Walcott both undergo internal brace procedures this week, which is not Tommy John. It is basically, rather than doing like a hot swap on your ligament that Tommy John does, they are basically improving the existing one. They're like adding reinforcements to it. I find this very interesting because it seems to be like Shohei Ohtani. That was the time it really came on to my radar of him getting it done rather than a second Tommy John. You're having these two guys, one extremely young, one a very good pitcher currently, both opting for this rather than Tommy John. I wonder if this is the beginning of out with Tommy John, I guess, unless it's absolutely necessary, or what's going on here. Obviously, I don't know enough about surgery and ligament repair, but I do find it fascinating. The obvious benefit is that the recovery, it's less invasive and the recovery is a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to remember Tommy John was like a revelation when it
Right.
happened, right? Like saved careers, before you were just done and now, you miss a lot of time, but you can come back. And so I don't know enough about the specifics and the differences of why someone would need Tommy John versus why an internal brace will be successful. But you're right. I think we may be seeing a next evolution of sports medicine, which is a field that has a ton of money and a ton of resources and a ton of value in. So of course, like it's not like, oh, we're not making new medical advancements, we're good. Like, no, there's going to be continued to be new developments and new improvements. Maybe this is one of them. Or maybe we're just both very ignorant and it's basically solving two different problems.
Yeah, if
But
we
I
have
don't know.
anybody that I would love to hear or get an email, or send an article, if anybody has more information on that, or if you know more than us, or come on the pod, explain it to us. But if you
Yeah.
know what the hell this is, or have more information than we do, which might be everyone listening, let me know.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, the WBC is starting very soon. March 6th, the USA team is going against Brazil with Logan Webb starting. March 7th, Great Britain with Tarek Skubal making his one start for Team USA. Have you read about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then March 9th, Mexico versus USA. Paul Skeens going for USA.
Pretty good lineup. I think, you and I will be together through at least two of those three games. So we've been talking about how we try to prioritize those while also going to the games that we want to go to. So I don't know about the game on the 7th, if we'll be able to catch that one, but I think we should be able to watch the Friday night game. I mean, I'm so excited about this.
USA better absolutely destroy Brazil, right?
They really should stomp to the finals or semifinals at least. Like there's some good other teams there. Dominican, Japan always does well. But if Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt, Roman Anthony, was it Kyle Raleigh? It's like Kyle Schwarber. If they can't beat Team Brazil, it's going to be disappointing. I'm not feeling too great about rooting for America right now, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to be there screaming for America no matter what.
I'm rooting for the boys, for the boys.
Yeah. For the boys.
Yeah, very excited for all of that, and we'll keep covering it as hopefully America trounces these teams and wins. All right, Nate, that's all I got for league news.
All right, Hambone, we're going to wrap up with a quick game, a classic game. We played it on the Viva Alberto's podcast a little bit ago, though you, of course, took it down quite handedly, quite quickly. Awesome. I bet that felt good. And I was actually disappointed. I was like, oh, I got a chant. And then I just went blank, which is what I always say on this show, is that I know you, like, it's so much harder being in the seat, and that's how I felt in it. But anyway, we're going to play Who Is This Guy? So the way this works, I have a player who has played at least one game at the major league level
for the Cardinals,
for the St. Louis Cardinals, and I have a list of clues about them. The clues start vague and get increasingly specific. Ben has to make a guess after every clue. We see how far we go before Ben gets it, or if he gets it. You normally get it. I got you on the last one. You could not get Scott Spiezio.
Yes, that was a good one.
So
I never did. I just totally whiff on it entirely. I never got it.
Yeah, that is the one. Wow. I think that's the only one that you just never got.
Yeah.
Okay. This player was born on March 2nd, so happy birthday to them, 1998 in La Habana, Cuba.
1998. Wow. Okay. 98. Really? It's a young person. Younger than me, at least.
I'm just saying it's not. Yeah.
1998. Right now I'm just trying to think of Cuban players who are about that much younger than me, have played for your St. Louis Cardinals. 1998. I think this guy is too old, but he might be right in there. I'm just going to go with Aledmys Diaz.
No. Good guess. I think he's older.
I think he's older as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But no. This player has played for St. Louis and Pittsburgh.
St. Louis and Pittsburgh. So far. St. Louis and Pittsburgh, because my mind goes to Johan Oviedo, but he just got traded, but he hasn't played with that new team yet, which I think is the Red Sox, unless something else happened. But maybe it's somebody else. Oviedo, he's in his. Yeah, I'm going to say Johan Oviedo.
Hambone, you got it.
Let's
Two
go.
guesses. I thought I'd maybe trick you with that by not including the Red Sox because that doesn't qualify for the way I don't do it unless they've done major league teams. Because I thought STL in Pittsburgh is a narrow pipeline.
Yeah,
you know.
I think it's the Cuban part of it is what, because not a ton of Cuban players of recent memory for the Cardinals.
Yeah. So you got it, Johan Oviedo. The other facts, here you go. In 2023, he threw a complete game shutout and also led the NL in hit by pitch.
I think definitely forgot
didn't
about
expect that
one.
to. Yeah, I didn't expect you to get it off the facts, but the intent there was to clue you in that it was a pitcher. After that, it was August 2nd, 2022. He was traded by St. Louis Cardinals with Malcolm Nunez. Remember him?
He was a little slugger, right?
Yeah. Can you remember who they got for Johan Oviedo August 2nd after the trade deadline? It's a key part.
Is it Richie Palacios? No.
Nope. I will put you in the headspace. The Cardinals were making a surprise run at the playoffs because of Albert Pujols.
Is it J.A. Happ?
No, they did acquire a pitcher who would not even be able to, because it was after the trade deadline.
Yeah.
They acquired a pitcher who would not be able to join them in the playoffs if they made it.
No, I don't remember.
Jose Quintana.
Oh, yeah. I remember him being on the Pirates. Yeah. I kind of remember him being on the Cardinals.
He was good. Well, and then everyone wanted them to re-sign him, and they didn't, and he's pretty much been bad. He's had some moments. They also got Chris Stratton.
Oh, yeah.
Played a minor role with the Cardinals for a
few
remember. Years. Yep. And then final was he was traded by the Pirates to the Red Sox for just Nixon, Garcia as part of a package, and is expected to be the fifth man in the Red Sox rotation this year.
Still have a little bit of faith in Johan Oviedo. It would not surprise me 28. If he puts it together.
He is he's sort of a sleeper target right now. If you're in fantasy baseball, a lot of hype on him. There's a reason why the Red Sox went and got him. Just Nixon, Garcia, not a perfect prospect, but is still a pretty good prospect. So they paid for him. We'll see. A lot of people have been dreaming on Oviedo for a while now. But
I mean, having Bello and Oviedo as your 4-5, it's a lot to dream on. It's not the worst place to be.
Yeah, and they have Connolly early. I don't know how much you've looked at him, but he's very, very good, and he's probably not even getting a rotation spot.
Terrible name.
You can start to see. Yeah, you can see why the Red Sox traded like 8 pitchers, and they still have a logjam in their rotation.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Wish us luck down in Florida on the Get More Stupider tour. We'll be back next week reporting on it. One more plug for the Patreon, and one more plug. We are about to launch the Fantasy Baseball League. if that's something you're interested in. There's still a little bit of time and probably a little bit more space. So if you're in the Birds Court and haven't expressed interest in it yet, join the channel. If you're not and want to join, get in quickly because those spots are filling up. We're going to start real soon. So that's at patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds, or you can find all of our links at talkingaboutbirds.com. But thank you again, everybody, for listening. As always, we'll be back next week. And until next week, go Cardinals.
Go Birds.